Good morning, good afternoon, and welcome to This Week in Renewables, your bite-sized roundup of the renewable stories over the last 7 days. You know the score: wind, hydropower, solar, anything renewables we discuss. As per usual, I am your host, Mr. Deji Ogunsola, the voice you can trust. Hope you've had a good weekend and wishing you a good week ahead. Time to catch up on some of the renewable stories as per the last 7 days. Before I forget, don't forget to do the usual good stuff, the like, comment, sharing and subscribing. It should appear somewhere at the bottom of this page if you're watching for those on video. This week we're going to start off with some wind energy news by way of Poland, which has been quite busy at the moment. On the day-to-day job, which I'm sure you guys know in terms of recruiting, I've had a lot of requirements and discussions about Poland, so it seems to be there's definitely a shift in the market there. And the news over the weekend was that German developer VSB Holdings has acquired the rights to a 170 megawatt hybrid wind and solar project in Poland. The project itself is located in the Lower Silesian region and should be constructed by the end of 2023. VSB Energia, the director for Poland, Mr. Hubert Kowalski, recently commented that the combination of wind energy and photovoltaic park gets the maximum yield out of the area. We are confident that the upcoming positive changes in the area of the 10H distance rule in Poland will give us additional boost in the success of the project. VSB has acquired the rights to the pre-development project in an area around 120 hectares. Important to mention that VSB has already commissioned around 76 megawatts in Poland and more than 600 megawatts in services. So good news there. More news on the wind side, this time by way of a Finnish infrastructure company by the name of Enesense. They announced last week that they have struck an agreement with French renewables firm Valorem to develop 1.5 gigawatts of wind farm projects in Finland by 2025. The targeted capacity is going to include projects that Valorem and Megatuli are currently working on, and new prospect projects as well. The so-called mutual cooperation agreement is limited to a 3-year term, as reported. So good news coming by way of there and Finland to see what happens with those particular projects. The company is expecting that the gigawatt scale development to bring 1.5 billion euros of new investments to Finland, so quite substantial project there. Moving on from some wind energy to solar energy news, and those who follow the solar market, Lightsource BP have entered the French market, setting goals of 1 gigawatts of power. Those who would have seen, who follow Lightsource BP already, would have probably a bit recent to this news already, but it was interesting to say the least that they are setting up in France with a head office in Aix-en-Provence and plans to develop 1 gigawatts of solar projects in the country by 2026. The French unit will be headed by Mr. Raphael Colas, who is actively growing his team that currently boasts European and international experience. I believe that Mr. Raphael Colas himself has 12 years experience in the photovoltaic sector in France and abroad, and was previously responsible for the EPC sales and business development at NG Solar. In France, Lightsource BP will have a 360 degrees offering. This is encompassing of the full complete life cycle of a solar energy project, from the initial site selections to the financing, to the permitting, long-term agreements and production sites and sale of electricity. So it doesn't come by surprise to see that this new creation in France of Lightsource BP is looking to create around 15 roles, which will include anything from land prospectors, engineers, developers, grid managers, GIS specialists and project managers. So good news coming by of the French market as another big international company sets their mark on what is one of the busy regions in Western Europe. So congratulations to Lightsource BP, and of course good luck to Mr. Rafael Colas on his journey to set up the division there. Some more news on the solar side, and Bluefield Solar Income Fund, BSIF, they have acquired over 93 megawatts of solar and wind portfolio in the UK. The new solar and wind portfolio is the largest acquisition to date for the company and will consist of 15 solar plants with a total installed capacity of roughly 65 megawatts and 4 wind farms with a combined capacity of in the region of 30 megawatts as well. So in total we're looking at just close to 110 megawatts. The deal is the third acquisition of the operational assets of BSIF have made in the last 12 months, so they have really got some strong plans in the UK. The acquisition itself will be financed by a new £200 million revolving credit facility provided by the RBSI and Santander UK, which has refinanced existing agreements and supports the group's ambitious growth plans. So really good news coming up by way of the UK solar and wind market with the recent acquisition of projects. Some further news on the solar side coming by way of, this looking here, Lithuania. Renewable energy company Green Genius will install 500 megawatts of solar power in Lithuania by no later than 2025, so some very ambitious targets there. It will also, as I announced, install 200 megawatts of wind farms simultaneously, so it seems to be the running theme of this week with the solar and wind projects running in combination. This will be making a total of 700 megawatts of wind and solar plants in Lithuania by 2025. So really good news coming by way of the Lithuanian solar and wind market as a whole. Last but not least, some hydropower news, and a project I've been following for a good maybe 5-6 years, I would say, and this is the Kiosk generation project in Canada, Manitoba to be precise. The last of the 7 generating units was completed on the project, so congratulations. The project itself, which is roughly 695 megawatts, consists of 7 unit powerhouses separated from a 7-gate spillway as well, and connected 3 dams across the rapids. The project itself was built by Bechtel along with Bernard Construction and Elliston BBE, and work covered under the contract by Manitoba Hydro. So again, congratulations to all those involved on the Kiosk project to see that the last of the 7 generator units was completed as of last week. And look forward to hearing about the future successes of the project in operation. So that, my friends, sums up this week in renewables. Short and sweet as usual, trying to keep it to 10 minutes and under. Your bite-sized roundup of the renewable stories over the last 7 days. Wind, hydropower, we discuss. I'm your host, Mr. Deji Ogunsola, the voice you can trust. Take care, goodbye.